about what makes a person right person, and your framework, a person must be smart, disciplined, and spirit. Is this the qualities when you look for when you hire consultant for your company, hire employees for your companies? Is there anything else you look for?
Based upon the foundation of those three, what happens is you delve into, you peel back the onion skin further. So what does smart mean? So smart in the context of consultants or developers that we bring on, or project managers or business people, whatever it might be, you have to take a look at them in the context of what they would be doing. And do they exhibit and demonstrate not just the smart? Here's a key part about this, Russell. It's not necessarily just the smarts of what they've done in the past, but it is the smarts of how they're planning for the future. And I think this is a key piece, and it's something I've become incredibly passionate about, and that is that you cannot rest on your laurels. Show me how it is that people are saying, I'm making a difference, not just for what I've done in the past, but how I've taken what I've learned in the past and evolved that into the future. And if they can't tell a story about that substance, then they're not necessarily the right person for us. All right, so that's, I think, the piece around the smarts. On the spirit, how is it they rise to the occasion? What happens in terms of how they deal with tough situations? How do they actually motivate other people? And a key piece for me is, how do they motivate other people when they're not necessarily their manager? True inspirational leadership comes from, at least in my mind, when you're not necessarily the boss of folks. So one of the guys that I spent time with was the gentleman who actually is the CEO of American Cancer Society, all right, and Dr. John Sefrin, and great guy. And so he manages, I think the number was over 2 million people. Now think about that, 2 million people. Now, of course, the large number there was volunteers. And he was a very interesting guy in terms of his management style, because he said, they're not on my payroll, these people. I can't call them up and say, because I'm paying you, you need to do this. He said he had to figure out ways that actually were aligned with the vision of what he was trying to do with the organization, and then try to help these people in terms of adopting that and growing them accordingly. But
so you think that the way I'm curious about the story that he doesn't pay all volunteer work. How did he rally the team? He talked about the organizational purpose, the bigger purpose, and yeah, what was the method?
Well, here was the crux of the story that he shared with me. It was a fascinating one. He said, American Cancer Society had, for its history, been a very distributed organization, different centers around the country, and that was how they were, and that's how the volunteers behaved. And he felt that in order for the organization to grow and evolve beyond what it had been so far, he had to take it up to a different level. And he felt the way to do it, from my recollection, from my discussion with him, was that he actually had to go through a process where he had to regionalize more, he had to consolidate and bring more continuity into the respective different areas of the organization. And it was a huge litmus test for him, because what he found was that his leadership was challenged and questioned. And at the end of the day, he stuck to his guns. He said, for all of the right reasons, I believe this is the right thing to do for the organization. And at the end of the day, people actually came on board with him, and actually the organization grew as a result of that. So it's a fascinating story, but it was one where he didn't necessarily have the carrot. He actually had to inspire and influence people based upon a vision, and then execute on that vision to show them how they were able to be more successful.
It's a great, inspiring story.
Yeah.
So let's go back to the hiring question. When you talked about smart is more than just being intelligence, is planning for the future. You talked about the spirit, where the person needs to have the ability to make the right decision under tough situations. What other qualities you're looking for?
Well, I think there's the discipline. How does one make sure that they don't just do the last, just the first 80%, 85%? Alrighty, that they actually get the balance of the job done the right way. How are they disciplined to make sure they're getting it done in a way that allows them to achieve success? And now, I caution you in this discussion here, because at one point I was actually all about writing a book called The Last 5%. And I realized that it isn't necessarily about the last 5%. It's about the last percent that makes sense for the actual project or opportunity at hand. Because the reason I bring this up is that for some, they will go to a point where they are so detailed that they compromise their ability to succeed. They are so focused in the weeds and the details that they don't get the job done. So while they might have painted this perfect picture, the bus already left, and people are no longer interested in taking a look at the picture they actually painted. So finding this right balance is key, and having a discipline that allows them to be mindful of what their audience is interested in. already, and to be able to calibrate towards that will make a big difference as well.
Now, Russ, do you personally get involved hiring every single top consultant for your company, or is there somebody else who's doing
Well, we
it?
have other people, and we put them through a rigorous step of actually meeting with a variety of different folks. But typically, I'll have some involvement in terms of making the final decision on someone.
Sure.
And I mean, they represent Corridor, and so I want to be able to have some opinion in terms of, you know, if they're going to be able to do what's needed. You know, now as the company continues to grow, that might necessarily be the case, and we're looking at expanding internationally over to London. We have offices over in Vietnam as well. So, so it's exciting, and the people over in Vietnam, that's actually more contained. In the UK, would probably actually get more involved there, but then eventually get some leadership that, you know, that would probably be a little bit out of my domain in terms of going over there each time.